Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, afternoon. Why did I say afternoon? Good evening, everyone, or it might be afternoon if you're watching this in a different time zone or on the VOD or the YouTube upload. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever the case may be. Just double check something. Second night of Granny Month. Good time zone. Welcome, Blueberry Bean. How are you? So, welcome to the second stream of Granny Month. Yesterday, we did the 3D Daisy Granny from Ophelia Talks on YouTube. And what I'm going to be doing this month, and you've probably noticed it, whatever square I'm doing, I will post the link to give them credit. So if you want to watch them make it, that's where I got it from. So on yesterday's video, stream video or whatever, the link is in the description for Ophelia Talks version of it. She did it in purples. I did mine in a more of a traditional daisy color. So that was a 4-row repeat. Pretty simple, not real difficult to do. Tonight we're going to step it up a whole lot. And tonight we are doing the 3D Peony square by YarnAndy on YouTube. The link is in the description below. And I'm going to show you what this is going to look like. Yesterday's was a 4-row repeat. Tonight is a 10-row repeat. And we're using 3 colors. You can use more colors if you want, but pretty much you're going to use 3 colors. And this is very 3-dimensional. So we're going to switch screens. And this is what we're going to be making tonight. I'm going to zoom in. It's a much larger square than our daisy. Our daisy's a little smaller. It's a much larger square. And let me get my tape measure and see approximately, and I'm using worsted weight yarn with a 5.5mm hook, and it's approximately 6.5 inches square across. So it's much larger. Let me measure the daisy one just for comparison. And hey there, Grammy. The daisy one is about 5 inches across. So 1.5 inches larger. And it's 3-dimensional, so if I turn it on profile, you could definitely see it sticks up a lot. And it's cupped like this, like a peony flower would be. So, to get right into it, I'm going to choose my yarn. I'm going to use this, I don't know what color you would call this. You're doing Melty, sir. Your AC is dead, but I'm lucky to have borrowed an AC unit, but it's downstairs and Oh, no, that's not good. So your computer is where it's warm? I'm sorry. Or your device that you're watching me on. So I'm going to use this pink color. Oh, I'm getting it all tangled up. I just want to get enough out because... Oh, you're downstairs on your laptop. Okay, well... Well, that's good. Well, are you in the same area as your AC? You said your AC was downstairs. The borrowed AC. Okay, I've got a knot. Okay. You're in the living room? Well, that's good. As long as you're trying to stay cool. It's gotten warm here, too. Okay, I've got a lot of my yarn pulled out, so I'm not fighting it later on when I'm doing... The first 7 rows are going to be your pink color, or whatever your flower color would be. The first 7 are that. The 8th row is your leaf color, and 9 and 10 are your square border color. So we're mainly gonna focus on the center. So to start, we're gonna start with a magic ring, and I gotta pull up my instructions. Yes, I know how to make this, but I can't remember every single stitch, so I have to refer back to my notes. So we're going to make a magic ring. And again, anybody who doesn't know how to make a magic ring, I'm going to show real quick again, like I showed last night. You're going to put your tail in your hand, wrap it around your 2 fingers, form an X, turn your hand, and I found there's another way I'm going to show you, a little bit different. You're going to take the hook that you've wrapped and wrap it around your ring finger and hold it in place with your pinky. So you've got a short strand and a long strand. You're going to put your hook under the short and over the long, bring it up, and do that. So you're going to do that one more time. Under the short, over the long, bring the long under, like that. You're going to turn the hook towards you, pull the loop up. So I've pulled the loop up a bit and push it away from you. And now what you're going to do is you're going to grab that strand here and pull that strand through the loop that's on your hook. And if I can do it the right way, yeah, I did it. Okay. So that actually formed a little chain. So now you can remove your fingers. And you've got your loop here. And you've got your chain. You've chained 1. And now you're going to chain once more. That is going to count as a double crochet. Now into your ring. So you've got your ring, and the side of the ring here, you've got your tail. You want to stitch over both the ring and the tail. And into that ring, you're going to put 15 double crochets. So all together, you're going to have 16 because those 2 chains you started with counts as a double. So we've got our chains, and then we made a double crochet. So that would be 2. We're going to have a total of 16. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and now 16. We have a total of 16 double crochets around our ring and that tail. You can always untwist your tail, it's fine. Pull your tail a little tight. You don't have to pull it all the way tight, but get them close. And then you're going to slip stitch into the top of that 2 chains. When we first started, we did 2 chains here. Into the very top one, you're going to slip stitch into that chain. And that is round 1. Round 2, we have 16 stitches. Round 2, we're only working in the front loops of each stitch. So in the next stitch, front loop only, we're going to do a single crochet. Whoops. A single crochet, chain 3. We're going to skip the next stitch, and in the following stitch, front loop only, single crochet. That's the repeat that we're going to do all the way around. When we get to the end, we will have 8 of these chain 3 spaces. So there's 1. We're going to chain 3, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch, front loop only, do a single crochet. Chain 3, skip a stitch, next stitch, front loop only, single crochet, chain 3, and so on. So now I'm going to skip a stitch, the next one the front loop only, to do my single crochet, and now we can chain 3. This row here is a foundation building row, this open lacy. When we do the third row, we're going to work into those to build our first round of petals. So skip a row. Oops. Second stitch, front loop only. Oh, I've split the yarn. Again, this yarn is a little bit on the older side. I don't think it is as old as that baby yarn that I did the other day for that yarn bowl that I made. Keep going all the way around. You're making these chain 3 spaces. And we're back to the beginning here. So we've got, let me count up my chain 3 spaces. 1. Hey there, Upcycly. And have a good lurk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we just did a chain 3. That's going to be our 8th one. And we're going to slip stitch into that single crochet that we have right there. That is round 2. So far, pretty easy. At this point, if you want, you can take your hook out, flip it over, take your tail, and cinch up that center. And I'm going to weave in my tail right now, just so I don't have to worry about it later. And cinch it up so that center is closed. Just go in a few stitches, and then back the other way a few stitches. And then this back the other way. Yeah, it could be a rose. The channel I got it from, the YouTube channel, it says it's a peony. So it's all about your interpretation. It could be a rose, it could be a peony. Whatever you want it to be. Okay, so I've cinched everything up, so I don't have to worry about that at the end. So we've done 2 rounds. Yeah, flower. Very 3-dimensional we're doing. So, like I said, that round we just did was our foundation row to build our first round of petals. So round 3, we're going to slip stitch into the next chain 3 space. That just moves us into that chain 3 space. And into this chain 3 space, why did it say chain 1? Okay, we don't need a chain 1. We're going to do actually, no, we will chain 1. Okay. So we've slip stitched into it. We're going to chain 1. And into that same space, we're going to do a single crochet. In the next chain 3 space, so we've skipping this, the next one, into this space, we're doing 2 double crochets. So there's our 2 double crochets, 6 triple crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and still into that same chain 3 space, we're going to do 2 more double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. So to recap, when we started this round, we slip stitched into the next chain 3 space, chained 1 and did a single crochet. The single crochet is like our anchor point into that space. We went to the next chain 3 space and did 2 doubles, 6 triples, 2 doubles. That forms our first petal. Now, in the next chain 3 space, we're going to do a single crochet. Now, go to the next chain 3 space and do our petal, which is 2 doubles. There's our 2 doubles. 6 triples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then still in that same space, we'll do 2 doubles. So now we have 2 petals. In the next chain 3 space, we're going to do a single crochet. And in the following chain 3 space, another petal. So that petal again is 2 doubles, 6 triples, 1, 2. I can move everything around. That was number 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in that same space, 2 doubles. In the next chain 3 space, do a single crochet, and in the following chain 3 space, do another petal, which is, again, 2 doubles, 6 triples or trebles, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 2 double crochets. And you can always move them around. They're just going around that chain. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch to your very first single crochet from when you started that round. Slip stitch to join. So when you get to the end of round 3, you're going to have a round. It's going to have 4 petals. Those 4 petals are the middle 4 petals of your flower. So when we add more to it, they are going to bunch up. But that what we just did is the round here and those 4 petals. Round 4. Got to remember we're on round 4. Now we're going to go to the back side of the work. And this is the part to pay attention. So on the back side of the work, if we go back to our first row here, and you see this stitch that's really, the loop's really pulled like loose, that was the front loop that we worked into originally when we did our foundation for our petals. Now we're going to work into the corresponding back loop of that stitch. If you remember when we did it, we did a single crochet into the petal, chain 3, skipped 1, and then the next one did another single crochet. We're doing the same one. So same alignment. We're going to go and we're going to slip stitch into that back loop of that same stitch. So this was the difficult part that I had to figure out. This loop here that's pulled really loose was the front loop of the stitch from round 1. Now we're going to go and work in the matching back loop. And again, we're going to do every other one. So now we're going to go and find that one, slip stitch to join. So now we're in the back loop. And then we're going to chain one, and in that same stitch, if I can get the right loop, in that same stitch, single crochet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain three. We're going to skip a stitch, and the stitch we're skipping is the same stitch we skipped when we did round two. I know it's kind of confusing, but when we were working in round two, we were doing front loops only. We went into the front loop of one, chain three, skipped a stitch, and then front loop in the next. It's the same one. So what we've done is we've gone in the back loop of that same stitch, chain three, skipping the very same stitch, and now we're going to go in the back loop of the next stitch. And in the back loop of that stitch, do a single crochet. Then chain three, skip a stitch, and in the back loop of the next stitch, it's easy to find because it's the loop that's been pulled roll loose. It's the corresponding back loop of the same stitch. And do a single into that. This round here is just like round two was the foundation for petals. We're working a foundation row for another row of petals. Chain three, skip a stitch, and in the back loop of the next stitch, again, the stitch that has the loop here, that's pulled loose, the matching back loop, do a single crochet. Chain three, skip one, and in the back loop of the matching stitch, chain one. Single crochet. And go all the way around. You're going to have 8 of these chain three spaces, just like you did on round two. There's your chain three. Find the matching loop. Do a single. Chain three. Keep going all the way around. Getting near the end. Okay. Let me just double check something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should have 8. Right, okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. Trying to find the right place to go. Sometimes it could be a little difficult, but as long as you get it pretty close, we're gonna go right into that stitch right there. I'm gonna double check my counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now we're gonna make our 8. So now we're gonna do chain 3, and then we are going to slip stitch into our very first single crochet that we did on that round. Whoops. Slip stitch right into that. And that is round 4. You will know if you have it right is if you have 8 chain 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And before we go to the next round, we're going to have an ad. So I will be right back after this ad break. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sitting through that ad break. Again, it always helps my channel. So back to our 3D Peony square. So we just finished round 4, and on the back side we have 8 chain 3 spaces separated by single crochets. That's the foundation for row 5 we're going to start now. So if you notice, this is the front of the work. This is rows 2 and 3, and it's the petal. You move that back, you fold it over, and you see this chain 3 space here? Well, in that chain 3 space, we're going to slip stitch over to it, chain 1, and then in that same space, do a single crochet. We're basically going to do the exact same thing we did for round 3, but we're going to do it on round 5. But everything, the petals are going to be offset. So you're not going to have petal against petal. The petal we're going to build here now is going to be between these 2 petals. And we're going to build in this next chain 3 space. So fold those petals forward. The next chain 3 space, we'll get 2 doubles, 6 triples, 1, and I was doing a double there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 triples, and then 2 more doubles. 1 and 2. Turn and go to the next chain 3 space, so move the petal out of the way. And that next chain 3 space, single crochet. Find the next chain 3 space and do another petal, which is 2 doubles, or 2 doubles, 6 triples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 doubles. The next chain 3 space is going to get a single. The next chain 3 space, we're going to have another petal. So far on that round, we've done 2 petals. So we're halfway down round 5. So the next chain 3 space, it's going to be another petal, which is, again, 2 doubles, 6 triples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 doubles. Chain 3 space gets a single. The next chain space gets another petal. And this will be our last petal of this round. That's 2 doubles, 6 triples, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 doubles. And we get to the end of the round there. The very first single crochet that we have here, not where we not where we did our slip stitch and our chain one, but the actual single crochet here into that. We're going to slip stitch into that single crochet, and that is now row 5, and that forms the second round of petals. So this was rows 2 and 3, and then rows 4 and 5 are our second row. So we're making our flower much fuller now. Now, row 6, again, we're going to go to the back side of the work. And we are going to, let me just double check something. The back of the work, insert the gap of the stitch. Okay. We're going to go look back at round 1, and every other one there is a stitch we never touched. This is the row we're going to work on those stitches. So what we're going to do is you can take your tensioning hand, the yarn down, and just with the hook, insert it into both strands. I think I got both strands there of that stitch. So we're working all the way back into round 1. This is on the back side. And then we're going to slip stitch that. And in that same stitch, or actually we slip stitch, we're going to chain 1, and in that same stitch do a single crochet. Now we're going to, and know it's very difficult, but the easy way to look at it, it's going to be the stitches here that are in the petal here. So the petal, so it's that stitch there, and then where the petals meet, the stitch there. So it's not where it's joining now, it's the other ones. Hey there, Fairy Dust. Yes, and happy Pride. So I've gone into that stitch that we hadn't worked in before and put a single crochet, and now we're
Thanks for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, K-School 386. So we've single crocheted into that, chain 3. Again, this row we're working on is going to be a foundation row for another row of petals. So now we're going to skip where we've got all those front loops and back loops and all of that business there. And we're going into the very next stitch, which is basically, we've got this arch forming the petal. That stitch that's right there, that's the one that we skipped before from earlier rounds. Go through, if you can, go through both loops and single crochet. This is the most difficult round to actually show on camera because it's just a mess of stitches. So then we're going to chain 3, skip, we're going to see how we've got this loop here and that stitch. We're skipping that one and we're going in this one. So we're not working in the ones we've already worked. We're going in the opposite ones. So we're going into trying to get both loops. Can be a little difficult with this round. Again, this is much more complicated than last night's daisy square. And you can always mash your petals down to get it to work. Again, this is where the petal, the arch of the petal is for this one. You're going to go into the stitch that's right below that arch and anchor it. And then, again, we're chaining 3 for each of ours. Go into the next one that we've skipped from round 1. And I'm a tight crocheter, so my stitches are a little snug. And then chain 3, skip where everything's joining here, and go into the very next one that hadn't been worked yet. Do a single crochet. Again, when you get done all this, you're going to have 8 chain 3 spaces. Let me just count what I have now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm halfway done this round. Chain 3, and now we're going to skip any of the stitches that were worked. There's one here, but there's one right in the middle. I should have used a much brighter, lighter colored yarn for this, but I didn't have any more enough of my very pale pink, and I didn't want to do it in white, even though peonies do come in white. 1, 2, 3. Let me just double check something real quick. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We just made the chain for 7. Okay, we're coming up to the end here soon. So now we're going to find the one where we skipped. It's right here. Go under both of those. And now we need to chain 3 more. That will be our 8th. Again, always good to double check. We're counting the chain 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we just made the chain here. We haven't anchored yet. That will be 8. And we're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet that we made of that round. Again, that was our foundation for our last row, the last round of petals. So now round 7, this will be their last round of this color. After round 7, we will do the leaves. So round 7, going to chain 1 and single crochet into the very same stitch that we just joined. In the next chain 3 space, which is immediately right here, we're going to do 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What is everybody working on as I'm working on this flower here? And if anybody's crocheting along, hopefully I've not confused everybody yet. So I've done 6 in there. In the next, wait a minute, I gotta check something. Okay. All right, okay. So in the next chain 3 space, we're going to put a single crochet. And in the next chain 3 space, do 6 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Next chain 3 space gets a single crochet. The next chain 3 space gets 6 doubles. This row goes pretty quick because it's the little petals at the base of the flower. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. The next one, the next chain 3 space gets a single. The next chain 3 space gets 6 doubles. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the very last chain 3 space gets a single crochet. And now what we're going to do is right here, in that very first single crochet that we did right here, we're going to slip stitch to join, and then I'm going to chain one, and now we're going to cut our yarn. I'm going to cut kind of long, pull the hook and pull the yarn through, tighten it up, and at this point I will weave in my tail because we're done with the pink. We're basically done with the flower part. We will now, the next row, row 8, we're going to do the leaves. Working on another baby blanket. I also have done some Starburst granny squares for a blanket I'm making for myself. My blanket for myself is a project I'm working slowly on for a year at this point. It's going to be a queen size and will take 480 squares. Wow. That sounds like a major project. Let me turn my music down a little bit. Well, I'm sure it's going to be beautiful when it's done. And again, I know you're a part of the Discord, so if you want, you can always post pictures if you want. And anybody who's a member of the Discord can post pictures of whatever they're working on or what they have worked on or what's going on. So that was row 7. We did those 4 little petals at the very bottom. So that is our flower so far. Yeah, what colors are they? Now I'm going to switch over to my green for yarn, round 8. Alrighty. I gotta double check my instructions here. I gotta double check how that is constructed. Oh, it's gonna be a round. There are 4 color scheme squares. Yeah, definitely share a picture. Okay, I gotta look at my sample here to remember how I did this because my notes are a little vague. Okay, so it's around the join. It's around the join. Okay. So if you look here, these join spots, they're the single crochets that we did. It's where these little petals will join. The petal will have a join at one end and at the other. So we have 4 petals, so we have 8 joins. So we joined it here and here and here and here and so on. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to lay it flat upside down. And we're going to join with a standing double crochet. And again, to show a standing double crochet, we've put a slip knot on our hook. And I'm going to go under that, basically around that single crochet, that join where we join the petals. And, oh, actually, no, we're doing a double crochet. So we got to yarn over. So we have 2 loops on the hook. Hold it with your finger. Hold both loops so they don't come unraveled. Now you can put the hook in under that join where the petal joined. And then yarn over, bring up a loop, 3 on the hook here. Yarn over through 2. And yarn over through 2. Okay? That's a standing double crochet. And then in that same space, let me double check something. I always have to refer back to this because it's been a few days since I've made my sample. You're around the... Yeah, okay. So around that same stitch where we joined, that where the petal joined, when we did the last row of petals where it joined, around that, we're going to do 4 double crochets together. So that's 1, wait a minute, wait, I'm not doing that right. This was the tricky part. This was the very tricky part. Okay, that's what we have to do. Your standing one, push it towards the bottom to the back. Since this is the front of the flower, we want to work from the back towards the front. So this is at the very back. And you're going to work this way. So you're going to do 4 double crochets together. So you do a double, but you don't finish it. You only go yarn over through 2. Leave that on the hook. Do it again. And actually that standing one counts as 1. So now we have 3. And now we've got the 4th one. And then we're going to yarn over through all of those. So that's 1 leaf made. And now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And find the next space where the petal joined back, which is here. And there we're going to do, around that, we're going to do 4 double crochets together. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over through all on the hook. And now this time we're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to repeat this. So we're going to do one of the 4 double crochets together, chain 6. In the next space, basically around that single crochet where the petal has joined, do another 4 double crochets together, and then chain 8. Hopefully this is making sense. So around that stitch, we're not going into the stitch, we're actually going around the post of that single crochet. That's right there. We're going to do, whoop, loop came undone. 4 double crochets together. So I got to yarn over and hold it in place. And then there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now yarn over through all on the hook. Chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Fairy Dust uploaded a picture of the starburst. What do you call it? Was it the sunburst grannies? Oh wow, that's pretty. I like those colors a lot. Do you mind if I share it here on stream? Let me double check. Okay, that's fine. Well, this here, for those of you who are watching or watching on the uploads, This is Fairy Dust Sunburst Grannies that he's working on. Very nice. Let me do a little reaction here before I forget. So I've done another 4 double crochets together and chain 3. And now I'm going to do another 4 double crochets together in the next single crochet around it, but basically doing around the post of that. And everything just kind of just fell apart on my hook. And before I go any further, we are going to have another ad. So I will finish this 4 double crochet together. That was number 3. And that is number 4. And I will chain 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know it doesn't look like much now, but when we add more rows, it will turn into a square. So after the add, I will we'll come back and do the other half of this round. I will be back. Welcome back, everybody. Again, thank you for sitting through that ad message. Never done one of those that has 3D types of flowers, and definitely going to have to learn this pattern and incorporate it into a blanket sometime. Okay. Well, if you like this one's very 3D, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of Tuesday's flower. So far, out of the samples that I've made, Tuesday's is my favorite. Tuesdays, we're doing the water lily, and I will post this on the Discord as a sneak preview after when I'm done stream. But this is Tuesdays. That's my favorite so far. It is three-dimensional. It's not as three-dimensional as the Peony, but it's got a lot of petals and leaves and all the different colors, and it's great for scraps because you only use a little bit of each color. And I think I'm going to end up probably making a bunch of these and doing something with it. I don't know what, but definitely this is like my favorite. That's the backside. But yeah, I really, really like it. And I like you could play around with the colors. You can mix them all up. So definitely tune in Tuesday for the water lily. You said after these messages, we'll be right back. So much reminds me of Saturday morning cartoons when they used to play some of the Schoolhouse Rock cartoons. That was my intention. that was my inspiration. And I would sing it, but nobody wants to hear me sing the little jingle. All right, so back to our leaves. So I've done, and I didn't do anything during ad break. So that's one repeat, which is again 4 together, chain 6, and then the next one around the next stitch, we'll do another 4 together and chain 8, and then you keep that repeat. So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to wrap because we're doing doubles, and we're going to go around that stitch that's right there. It would help if I would zoom in a little bit. So we're going to wrap around that stitch. Again, that's what's joining these 2 petals from that previous one. And we're doing 4 double. Oh, I didn't hold the yarn over with my finger. I always have to hold it with my finger because if not, it'll fall right off the hook. So we're doing 4 double crochets together. So I've done 2, 3, and if I can go through both. Okay, that's 4, and then yarn over. Oh, something didn't work right. Something snagged. Okay, so I've got 3 of them. I got to do 1 more. And now I can do it. Okay, and go through all of them, and then chain 6. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to go to the next one. And again, four double crochets together. So that's 1, 2, 3. And I know this looks like a rat's nest of stitches because it's all bunched up here. But believe me, it will spread out when we add the last 2 rounds. So that was our second of the repeat. And now we're going to chain 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have 1 more of this pattern to do. So again, 4 double crochets together. And those 4 double crochets together forms the leaves, obviously. So that was the 3rd one. And the 4th one. So there's 1. And now we're going to chain 6. It's 3, 4, 5, 6. And now our last 4 double crochets together. And trying to find where it goes can be a challenge, but again, it's where the petals, the end of the petals are connected. Come on. Sometimes you have to talk to your yarn. It's 1, 2. Oh, number 3 don't want to work. That was number 3. And then 1 more. Okay. And now chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going, stop twirling. And now we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first leaf, which will be right here. And slip stitch to join, chain 1, and now we can cut our yarn. We're done with the green. Pull through and cinch up. Now what you can do is you can take, you can always, I'm going to tie on my ends here. Take your, these loops and spread them out into a square. So that's how we're going to have this. We're going to have, you've got a chain of 8, a chain of 6, a chain of 8, chain of 6, and so on. And you've got your 8 leaves, and they are, again, the 4 double crochets together. That's what it looks like when you spread it out. That's the back side. It will look a lot better once it's all done, and we're going to fluff it. We're going to weave in our ends now, just so I don't have to worry about it later. So if you're making this and you've gotten to this point, the hard part is done. The last 2 rows are super easy. All they are triples, triple crochets, and double crochets. And there are no fancy there's no fancy maneuvers. You're not going to have to stand on your head, and you're not going to do the hokey pokey. Those last couple rounds were the worst. The last round of petals and the leaf round, I think, are the worst on this project. But if you take your time, you can definitely get through it. So I've moved that out of the way. So now we're going to get our border color. And I'm going to use white just because of the contrast. And we're going to join with a standing triple crochet. So a standing triple crochet, we're going to put a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to yarn over twice, and with your finger, hold all 3 on there, and find one of your chain 8 spaces, one of the bigger ones, doesn't matter which one. And anytime I join with a standing stitch, either a single, double, whatever it is, or a triple, I always put my working yarn here away from me. So it's away from, standing on your head was well worth it for the finished product. Exactly. But once you do a bunch of them, you kind of get the hang of it. So I've wrapped it twice since we're doing a triple. Go in like this. Like I said, I'm going to put my working yarn away from me on the other side of the work, and then I'm going to go into it here. Actually, we're going to flip the flower right side up just so our stitches are the right way. So we're going to flip the flower right side up, and still we're going to find one of the chain 8 spaces and go in like this, and then we can bring the working yarn through, and then we're going to yarn over through 2, and it helps with your thumb and middle finger. Pinch it there, You can pinch all of this, yarn over through 2, and then yarn over through the last 2, and that's your standing triple. It looks a little bit better. If you want to join with a slip stitch join and then chain up for your triple, that's fine too. So we've done our standing triple, and I just got to double check something. Standing triple, and then in the same space we're going to do 4 triples. So we'll have a total of 5, because we're going to count that standing triple as a triple, because that's what it is. So we've got 3, 4, and 5. That is all in a chain 8 space. In the next space, we're going to do 5 triples. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. And in that same space, we're going to chain 2. And also in that same space, 5 more triples. So our chain 6 spaces are going to be our corners. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Then in the chain 8 space, you're going to do 5 triples. 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the chain 6 space, 5 triples. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Also in that same chain 6 space, same space, 2 chains, and then 5 more triples. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, keep working the same, repeat the same pattern. So in the chain 8 space, there will be 5 triples. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Get more slack out of my yarn. The chain 6 space will be a corner, so we're going to put our 5 triples. 2, 3, 4, 5. In that same space, chain 2, And then 5 more triples. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was our third corner, right? Yeah, that's our third corner. Let me get more slack out of it because I'm going to need a lot more white yarn. The next the chain 8 space gets 5 triples. Oh, triples, not doubles. I guess you could do doubles instead if you didn't want it to be as big. You can also probably modify it and these chain spaces do less. So maybe do 4 chains here and then this do 6. 3, 4, and number 5. And then we're at our last chain 6 space, so that's going to be a corner. So that will have 5 triples, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. Chain 2, and then 5 triples again. 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're going to slip stitch into the top of our standing triple crochet that we made to join. That was row 9, and again, it's all going to be ruffled, but you can flatten it out, spread it out, block it also. And now we're going to do row 10, our last row. This is real simple. You're going to put a double crochet into every stitch. Every triple crochet gets a double crochet. The corners are each going to get 2 doubles, 2 chains, and 2 doubles. So we're here. So I'm going to do, let's see how we're going to do this. So I'm in a stitch right now. I'm going to chain up 4. That's going to count as my first, actually no, chain up 3 because we're doing doubles. That's going to count as my first double. And then every stitch gets a double. So real basic. A lot of yarn pulled out of here. I'm not using my yarn bowls, even though I should. Come to a corner, real basic granny corner. It's going to get 2 doubles, 2 chains, and 2 doubles. One thing to keep in mind if you're working into the actual stitches, and this goes for any granny square, the very first stitch, the hole is right there. Some people miss it, especially if there's a bunch of stitches going into that corner. They'll miss that one. So that is the very first stitch right there. You just work your way all the way around. It's a little warm in here, so my fingers are like sticking to this acrylic yarn. That's the problem in the summertime if I use acrylic. It doesn't want to slide as easily. And I do have the AC on and the fan on, and still happens. So at the corner, so I did 2 doubles, chain 2, and then 2 doubles in the corner. And again, I'm just working into every stitch. Every triple crochet will get 1 double. A real simple row. You don't even have to count with this one. You don't got to think. I think, how many corners have I done so far? 1, 2. I've only done 2. Okay, I'm about halfway around. Even though this looks like a wrinkled, ripply mess, it will all come together at the end. And again, blocking would definitely help this. Chain 2. Then doubles. Getting nearer and nearer to the end. I think we're on my last corner. Yep, I'm on my very last corner. There's the 2 doubles, 2 chains, and then 2 doubles in that same corner space. And again, a double into each remaining stitch. Then, yeah, that was a slip stitch. And now we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of our chain. We did 3 chains there for our very first double for that row. Slip stitch to join, do a chain, cut your tail, take your hook and move it out, pull the yarn through, tighten it up, and that wasn't on camera, sorry about that. We're going to weave in our ends, since we've been weaving in our ends all along as we go. I don't have to weave it in too much here. It's just a little square, but I still want to make it secure. Flip that one. I'll weave in my last tail. Do a few little stitches. Then go back on itself. And one more time. And I'm getting ready to have an ad. So as soon as the ad is done, I will fluff this up and do the reveal of the square we made tonight. Move all my little scraps out of the way. And I will be back after this ad. It seems like we're having ads all the time. But I've got them set every half hour, so I will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, so we're going to do the reveal. So this is our sample we had in the pink, and this is in the more, I guess, raspberry berry color. So now we're going to fluff it up, get it more square-like, flip it over. Again, blocking would help a lot. And then what you can do, if you want, you can take these inner petals, cup them, so the cups are going towards the center, and kind of form them and fluff them up however you want them. And we have, again, blocking would work wonders with this. But we've got two peony squares, and they would work together because they're the same flower and similar colors, and then you can join them together. I would probably join them together with the same green somehow, doing like a decorative stitch to join them. And make a whole bunch of them. You can make a blanket, or you can put a solid color white square in between to break it up so there isn't so many of the flowers. So that is the 3D peony square. Like I said, the channel is called YarnAndy. I've linked them in the description if you want to watch their version of it. And again, a little sneak peek. I showed it earlier. A sneak peek of Tuesday's stream is the water lily square. And the one I'm going to do, when I do it on Tuesday, I'm going to pick different colors. You can get real creative with the colors that you use. And this one is really good for scraps because pretty much almost every round or every 2 rounds is a different color. So I think we're going to call it a night. It's been an hour and a half, and we've got our cute little peony made. And there's nobody on to raid, unfortunately. So I guess we're not going to raid. I will be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for our usual Sunday temperature blanket. And if I'm not mistaken, when I work on it, we're going to add some red, meaning temperatures were above 90, because I think yesterday it got up to 91, 92 maybe. Got a little warm. So, with that said, again, I have a Discord. Check out the Discord. Feel free to post anything you're working on. There's a whole bunch of cool interactive things on there, like there's a bunch of memes that we've done. We haven't done meme in the stream in a while. We'll have to bring that back. There's a channel for YouTubers to watch. A lot of cool, interesting crafter type YouTubers. Members have uploaded their whips or their foes, anything they've worked on. There's a couple other, let me check over that, useful things. I haven't added there in a while. There's some charts for crochet and knitting, like abbreviations, symbols, conversions. So there's a bunch of things over there. Also, I have a YouTube channel. Check that out. All of my streams, as soon as I'm done streaming, they get uploaded straight to the YouTube channel. And like I said, I will be on tomorrow night for part whatever number. I have lost track of